I'm Jordan Hatfield. This is Faster Film Critic. Today on the show, we talk Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning with Kolter and Chase Fugel. Dead Reckoning is a 2023 action film, the 7th in the Mission Impossible franchise, and part 1 of a 2-part story. It is directed by Christopher McQuarrie, stars Tom Cruise, Haley Atwell, Ving Rhames, and Simon Pegg. If Ethan Hunt can successfully complete so many missions for the IMF, are they really impossible? Maybe they should change the name to Mission Unlikely. Get in, we're going cinephiling. What's up, guys?
What's up?
So, guys, this is the 7th film in the Mission Impossible franchise.
It sure is.
This thing's been going.
Yeah.
Oh, it has.
Has it become too formulaic?
Well, that is the question, but audiences don't seem to think so. Mission Impossible just gets more and more popular. And by the way, this film has the biggest budget so far at $290 million.
God, I bet some of that has to be they had some serious production challenges on this, mostly due to COVID.
With its delays and its reshoots and its leaked audio of Tom Cruise ripping co-stars on set.
Oh, my God. Put your mask on, you piece of shit.
We are not shutting this movie down. I don't ever want to see you without a mask on again, ever.
That's the movie I want to see.
Yeah, the documentary of Tom Cruise belittling and berating his cast and crew.
Yeah, I'd pay to see that.
Sure.
This movie is also the longest Mission Impossible to date.
Yeah, it sure is.
And it's amazing that this franchise just keeps getting bigger and more popular.
Yeah.
You know, most franchises, man, they die. They get painfully bad by the 7th film.
Sure.
Right? I mean, Harry Potter was huge.
Yeah.
Avatar's never going to make it, even though
Probably
that's
not.
the plan.
Yeah.
I got to stand up and applaud. I mean, it's no James Bond, but Mission Impossible is still exciting.
Yeah, agreed.
I would say, fortunately, most die before the 7th movie.
And many of those that don't die should have. No one likes it when a franchise goes down in flames. It just hurts the first films, the original ones that are good.
Yeah.
But I don't think this is a perfect franchise.
Yeah.
I think there are definitely weaknesses throughout. Most can be forgiven, but there is one that I want to talk about.
Okay.
And that is Simon Pegg's character.
Interesting.
I really like Simon Pegg,
Sure.
and I think he belongs in the franchise, but I don't like him as an agent. Initially, he was the back office tech guy, kind of like Ving Rhames.
Yeah.
And as soon as they moved him to an agent, oh, man, every time he's doing agent stuff, I'm just like, stupid. Come on.
Yeah.
He's not. This is my problem with it. If you can take someone like Simon Pegg and make him a field agent for the IMF, it devalues what Ethan Hunt is doing. You can just make anyone a member of the IMF.
Yeah, he's definitely kind of the outlier in terms of, I won't say competence, but he always seems like he's frayed at either end, and he's, in a panic. Everybody else is fairly composed and kind of in the pocket. It's kind of clear that they probably thought, let's bring this guy in. He's got some good comedic chops. He'll provide a little bit of levity and comedic relief here and there. But you're right. He doesn't quite, it does something to the kind of the seriousness.
He is the comedic relief of the film, often.
Yeah.
Turn right. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. I'm looking at my computer upside down.
Other right.
Yeah, other right. You should be able to jump out that window. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I'm only looking at this in 2D. I mean, he's kind of that guy, right? He's kind of the comedic relief guy. But he can still do that from his office chair. Like, the fact that they made him a field agent, I feel like it was a really bad decision, and it's carried through multiple films.
Right.
Ever since, I don't remember, 3, I think 3 is, no, maybe 4 is when he becomes the field agent. I forget.
Something like that.
That whole storyline doesn't work. You can still keep Simon Pegg, and he can still be a member of the IMF, and he can still be funny. Just don't make him a field agent.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know why. It just bugged me. But tell me, what did you think of Dead Reckoning?
I feel like it's the same as most of the other Mission Impossibles. Like Kolter said, it's kind of becoming formulaic at this point. Style over substance. They're all pretty predictable. And I think with this being the longest one yet, 2 hours and 40 minutes and only a part 1, it's felt a lot more than the previous ones.
So I definitely agree that the story follows the formula. It's built on the formulaic foundation of every other Mission Impossible movie that's come before.
Yeah.
However, they do something very different in this film that I appreciate. And that is they take the villain and move him from a physical being to a digital threat. And I think that is a very interesting and unique idea. But I know it comes with some criticism. There's been some people that are like, this is kind of dumb.
Sure.
An AI villain that lives in a computer. He's everywhere and nowhere all at the same time. I kind of liked it. What did you guys think of that aspect of the film?
I'm not a big tech guy in movies. I think just unsatisfying to me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Would you agree or disagree with that, Kolter?
I agree in part. I mean, the AI component is interesting enough. It's almost kind of like the physical antagonist in this movie, the bad guy, isn't all that interesting. It's kind of like they divided the efforts between, this formula is kind of James Bondish in a way where you've got your villain of the week kind of thing. And here it's divided between the human antagonist and then this AI antagonist, I suppose you could call it. So it's refreshing to see that they kind of went a little bit different. I think it kind of adds a little bit of complexity to it, but at the same time, this is kind of constant, ill-defined, looming threat of artificial intelligence, if not, super well-defined, can be a little detracting. So I don't know. It's a little bit of both. I like that it's something different, but it doesn't completely work at the same time for me.
S.I. Morales plays Gabriel, who is the physical villain in the movie, and I think he has to be there because there's got to be someone for Ethan Hunt to chase, right? If there is no physical, then Ethan Hunt is sitting in his desk for 2 hours and 43 minutes on his computer. Like, there's got to be someone in the physical world. Did you know that Gabriel was originally cast as Nicholas Hoult?
Whoa.
I know, right?
Okay.
Why'd they change
Interesting.
Nicholas Hoult had an obligation with the TV series. I forget the name of the TV series, but he couldn't make it, work in his schedule.
Huh.
And, man, I'm really glad that happened because I can't see Nicholas Hoult in this character.
Sure.
But I understand what you're saying. This character is not complex. He's just a physical representation of the AI villain. But I do think S.I. Morales fits that. I think his physicality and his appearance, he fits that role better. The writing around the character is weak. S.I. Morales is good. But I like the AI element here. I thought it worked. I thought it was different enough that it was interesting, and I bought in. So I thought it was cool.
Yeah, like you said, without Tom Cruise's Ethan not having something to chase, it's a requirement in each of the movies that we see him running at full speed somewhere. That seemed to be the case.
Right. Yeah. He's always running, climbing, jumping. He's doing plenty of that here for sure. One thing that I do think is really cool about this turn to the digital villain is this is also the very first Mission Impossible movie that was shot digitally. Everything else up until this point has been shot on 35 millimeter.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
And so here we change from shooting on 35 millimeter to shooting digitally.
Yeah.
At the same time, the villain turns from being physical to being digital.
Oh, that's
kind of a cool little thought, huh? Huh?
It is, yeah.
There is a character return in this film that I am so appreciative of, and that is Henry Czerny as Kittredge.
Yeah.
The only other movie he's played in is the first one.
Right.
He plays a high-ranking government official, and I love him in the first film.
Oh, he's great.
He's probably my favorite character in the first film, believe it or not.
Okay.
And I was so glad to see him back here. I wish that he was a larger part of this franchise. Out of all the characters, I think he's one of the more interesting and fun to watch. I don't know why they nixed him after the first, but I'm really glad he's back.
Yeah, he's got those icy cold blue eyes, and I'm sure you guys have seen the trailer for the new one. He's going to be part of that, it looks like. So, always curious. Was this the plan the whole time? I mean, did they have kind of a roadmap between the first Mission Impossible? Obviously, that's probably not is the answer because it went through the hands of different directors along the way. But Christopher McQuarrie's been doing the majority of them recently. So
he did Rogue Nation, he did Fallout, and he's done Dead Reckoning.
Okay.
I don't think there's been much of a through line, particularly when it comes to subplots. It's inconsistent, and I think that's one of the biggest weaknesses of this franchise, is it seems like every film they're trying to just wing it in some way.
Sure.
First, Ethan Hunt gets married and falls in love with the woman of his dreams, and then the next film, she's gone, right?
Yeah.
And then 3 movies later, there's another woman, and they're trying to like hodgepodge what happened to his wife, and there was no real explanation. And then, now we're going to get into his backstory a little bit. That has been completely absent of every Mission Impossible movie. And it feels like they're kind of winging it.
Right.
And I wish there was more continuity through the franchise. I think that would strengthen it from a writing standpoint.
Yeah, agreed.
But again, most people are not going to see these movies because they're so wonderfully written.
Sure.
They're going to see Tom Cruise jump off stuff.
Right.
I mean, it's the stunts. It's the car chases.
Yeah.
It's the jumping from mountains, from buildings, from airplanes.
Yeah.
So I don't think most people care. But for those who do, I think that is a big weakness of this franchise as a whole. It's the continuity film to film.
Yeah. It almost feels like they're writing the movie around these big, giant action set pieces. Kind of, it's almost like they're thinking of the stunts first and then, well, how do we write a movie around that?
Yeah.
Because that's been the main draw. And in large part because Tom Cruise does his own stunts. And I think, it's weird. Outside of Jackie Chan, I think Cruise may be the only actor of his stature to do his own stunts. So I think that's a draw in and of itself, is what kind of crazy shit's Tom Cruise going to do next?
Do you think this franchise would have lasted for 7 going on 8 movies with anyone else playing the protagonist but Tom Cruise? Is there anyone else in Hollywood that could play this role and pull it off?
I don't think so.
Yeah, play it and pull it off, maybe, but not without the conviction that he has for the role and the fact that you are seeing him perform these stunts. I mean, if it was any other actor, they'd be using CGI. And in a world where CGI is used more and more for pieces like this, the Mission Impossible series has steadily relied on in-camera action and stunt work, and that they feel more real and important as a result. And I think it delivers a superior experience for the audience. So, yeah, I don't think so, actually. I think it's not as good without him.
I don't think so either. And the marketing around this film, around Tom Cruise driving a motorcycle off the mountain, pulling a parachute.
Yeah.
I mean, that was huge. People were talking about that all over the place. If that's not practical, I don't know that this film is nearly as popular.
Sure.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think it's a big draw.
Even at the very end when they're on the train and Gabriel blows up the bridge and that train goes off the bridge into the lake.
Yeah.
That is a real train going off the bridge.
Yeah.
That's practical. That is so cool.
It's like watching old B movies where they drive cars off cliffs and they explode. Like there's something fun about the fact that they actually did it versus adding fireballs and fake blood sprays in post-production. It's just, there's a fun factor to it that a lot of movies just don't have these days.
You could not be more right. By the way, that sequence where the train goes off the bridge totally reminded me of The General. Buster Keaton's The General from 1926.
Okay, I could see that.
Has the most expensive stunt in silent film history. And it's the same thing.
Yeah.
They blow up a bridge and they run a train right off the bridge into the lake below, into the river below. By the way, you can watch that scene on YouTube if you don't want to watch the whole movie, and I highly recommend you check it out. It's really cool.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
1926, you got this huge steam engine, this huge locomotive running down the track, and then the bridge collapses and it falls into the lake.
Yeah.
Really, it really did that.
Yeah.
The train sat there, actually, from 1926 until World War II when they had to go and salvage this steam engine for metal.
Right, that's great. That's
and
funny.
It was the most expensive scene shot in silent film history.
That's cool, man.
Story-wise, what do you guys think of Haley Atwell's character, Grace, the pickpocket?
I thought Grace works really well. I think she plays both with and against Tom Cruise effectively. And it was nice to see somebody, the franchise injected with a new character that's kind of both fun and captivating, which I found her to be.
Yeah, it was nice to see watching this one right after the first Mission Impossible, a woman that has a role playing more than just a woman. She's given a little bit more responsibility, and she's still funny and not just a damsel in distress or the sex appeal of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she's super believable in the action scenes too, like her facial expressions and like how she's dealing with all this chaos. I mean, you feel like you're sitting in the car with her. She does a really hell of a job at conveying that, I thought.
I really like her character, and I really like the chemistry she has with Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
I agree with you, 100% believable. I thought she was a very fun part of the movie. The car chase scene in the Fiat is awesome.
Yeah.
There was humor in it. I thought it was very well shot. A lot of fun. I hate the idea. At the end of the film, they give her the option to join IMF. I hate it. I hate it.
Okay. Is it kind of the Simon Pegg thing? Like where it's like you don't necessarily deserve or have a set of skills that qualifies you to be on a team, or is it just...
I don't know what she's done to earn it.
Yeah, okay.
She's a pickpocket, albeit a damn good one.
She's a pickpocket. She keeps her, a cool head when shit's raining down. That's a skill, I guess, but it's not like you would imagine somebody on the IMF went through years of training.
Yeah, but on top of that, and above all, it's the fact that how can anyone trust this woman?
Oh, yeah.
How can Ethan Hunt trust her?
Sure.
I mean, when his life is on the line, is that a person that Ethan Hunt is going to trust?
Yeah.
I don't see how anyone could say yes to that question, especially Ethan Hunt. Like, I don't like it. I don't like it. Rebecca Ferguson, she's played in multiple films now.
Yeah.
She was the British agent. She seems more likely to become a member of the IMF.
Oh, absolutely.
She was never given the opportunity.
True.
You know? And
She
yet
probably
here
wouldn't
comes
have
this
wanted it
pickpocket who gives Ethan Hunt all sorts of trouble all the way through, and bam, you're part of the team.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was dumb. I really like her, and I like her role, just no IMF. Sorry.
That's fair.
I want to talk for a second about Palm Clementieff.
Okay.
She plays Paris.
Right.
She's the muscle for S.I. Morales in this digital enemy.
Yes.
She plays largely a silent part.
Yeah.
Most of her communication is through expression. She's tough as hell, and apparently on set, she brought so much energy and she had such great gymnastic skills that the director, Christopher McQuarrie, called her Palm Cruise on set. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of her character?
I think she's a necessary part. You need someone to be chasing Ethan Hunt as
Sure.
Ethan Hunt is chasing S.I. Morales. So I think
Okay.
she's an important part of the film. She's not a super scary character.
Right.
I wish
Yeah.
that she induced a little more fear, but I do think she's a very important part of the story.
Okay.
Yeah.
I found her to be just fun, but slightly out of place. Like she kind of belonged more in a John Wick movie.
I can see that. I agree with that. And if she's half as cool as her supporting cast said she was on set, if she brought that much energy, that definitely didn't come through on screen. I
Right.
think she could have used a bigger, more important part. But I do think she needs to be there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of characters in this movie.
Oh, yeah. A lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
There's a lot of characters, and a lot of characters tie back to older films. Did you guys find that distracting? Did you guys find it convoluted?
I'd say for sure. It's a lot to keep track of. Like you said, a lot of moving parts.
Yeah. Well, it's tough. I mean, the filmmaker's intention is obviously to wrap up this particular, I'll say storyline and not franchise, because I'm sure the Mission Impossible franchise will survive beyond this next movie. It may not be with Tom Cruise, but yeah, a lot of characters, some new, some returning, a lot of different storylines that they're all leading to some, wacky shenanigans. That's just kind of what the hallmarks of these movies have kind of become. And each one kind of has that problem, I think. It's all driving towards a point that, if you don't watch the last movie or you don't remember the details of things 2 movies ago, it can get a little confusing. Like, oh yeah, I remember that character, but I don't remember what that character's relationship is to this character. And it gets to be a little challenging in that regard, I think.
What was your favorite sequence in the movie? What was your favorite part of Dead Reckoning?
Oh, I know what mine was. I think you guys could guess too.
The ending credits?
Probably. Actually, you know me better than I know myself.
What was your favorite part?
I mean, it's got to be the scene where he drives the motorcycle off the cliff.
Yeah.
That is just so cool.
It is. It is really cool. It is really cool. I
Yeah.
agree.
I'm a sucker for a good car chase. If you had to pressure me to come up with an answer, like right now, I would have said the motorcycle jump too. But a well-done car chase is such a difficult thing to pull off. You look at the greats like Bullet and there's a great car chase in The Conversation. It's difficult to do that, make you kind of feel like you're sitting right next to the actors in the action. And this particular car chase for me, not only is it just a well-done car chase, but the interplay between Ethan Hunt and Haley Atwell's character Grace, it's so convincing and it works so well, and it lends itself to the intensity of the action. So for me, it was the car chase.
Well, enough yakety yak. Let's go ahead and rate this film on a scale of 1 to 5. What do you give Tom Cruise and Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning?
Dead Reckoning, and they all kind of have the same issues, and it's this style over substance. I want a little bit more. I don't know what it is. I want a little bit more emotion to be able to ground myself in the world. And I know that it's an action movie. I've seen it done a few times before where I really loved it. And that's just kind of what I want from this. And I'm not getting it. So I'm giving it 2 out of 5.
Much like the last one, I enjoyed this one. It's probably a little bit too long. Some of the revelations get a little convoluted. Some of the more established characters that we've seen before get a little sidelined in this one. Some of the humor attempts don't land for me, but I think overall it was a movie made in some challenging circumstances. It's another entertaining installment in the franchise. I love seeing practical effects. I love seeing stunts. Anything in front of the camera is... Anytime you can capture anything that's happening in front of the camera in real time, real life is a feat that I enjoy and appreciate. So had a good time. Looking forward to seeing the last one, and I'll give this one another 4.
I'm not an action movie guy. Like Chase, I kind of want a little bit more character development, a little bit more narrative to drive the story forward for me. I don't get that in Mission Impossible. However, when I'm in the mood for just a fun action film, it is Mission Impossible that I turn to. I enjoy this franchise. It's not fantastic, but what it has accomplished is fantastic. And again, The practical effects throughout all these movies, I think, is really, really cool. I enjoy it. I have fun with these films. I had fun with Dead Reckoning. I'm going to give this 3.5. We want to know, what did you think of Dead Reckoning? Please tell us.
Hey, you like movies about a team coming together to get the thing or do a thing or chase things? Check out John Frankenheimer's 1998's Ronin. It's a gritty, suspenseful, and intense story about a team of experts tasked with getting a thing, and maybe one of the best Robert De Niro movies you've never seen. Highly recommended. Give it a watch.
Thank you for listening to Faster Film Critic, and I hope 3 weeks of Mission Impossible isn't too much for you, because next week we're doing the final reckoning. You can also follow us on Letterboxd, Cinetrek, and Instagram. Email us at fasterfilmcritic@gmail.com. Hit us up with questions, comments, feedback, or review requests, and please share this episode with your movie-loving friends.